Clemson rivalry?
Well, I grew up, two of my best friends their grandfather went here and was a booster up here. So I kind of knew a little bit about it, but my big rivalry was more Florida State-Miami. But I've heard about it. It's important to a lot of people up here, so we're excited to get over there and play.
How long after you got here on campus as a freshman did you first hear a beat Clemson, or you're not allowed to lose those guys, those kinds of things?
Shoot, that was when I first stepped on campus. You see beat Clemson, Clem sucks, all that sort of stuff around campus. And it's like you start to understand the history behind it and, the level of the rivalry.
Is this the best team you guys are going to play all year?
It's up there with one of the best defenses that we're going to face. As far as the offense, those guys have gone up against some good ones. But, I would put these guys right up there with the Florida defense. It's going to be a challenge for us, but we're excited.
What's their front seven do that's kind of particularly disruptive?
They're just physical. And that's what Coach Muschamp preaches. We just have to out-physical everybody, and that's the goal this week.
Hey, when you guys talk about Jake's poise, how does he show that? During the game and in the huddle?
It's just his command, like Coach kind of said during the Florida game, he saw some guys getting wide-eyed and stuff like that, and you just don't see that out of him. He's 18 years old, but he walks in there with the confidence of a fifth-year senior.
How do you expect he will handle this environment on Saturday?
I don't expect anything different out of Jake. He's been there and been down to Florida, and he's been there before. I wouldn't expect anything less out of him this week.
What does Clemson remind you? What team that you've played do they most remind you of on defense?
Florida. It's just their physicality, the way they get after the ball carrier, they swarm to the football. It's going to be a challenge for us, but we're up for it.
You guys taking I know Mason said he's going to talk to Jake this week about going on the road one more time this season. Have you spent some time with him at all, talking to him about that?
I think Jake's going to prepare the way he always does week to week. I don't want to get in his head and say anything differently, but he knows the magnitude of the game. Like I said, he was down there at Florida. He knows what to expect.
What has Coach Muschamp said about the rivalry? Has he played it up at all?
It's just, every day before we break down meetings, it's beat the East, win the state. So, since day one, he's addressed it. That's a huge game for all the people around here. And, he's addressed that since day one.
You think he's heard it from the fans at all?
I'm sure. Everyone up here, this game has been circled on everybody's schedule since we kicked off back in September. So, I'm sure Coach understands.
He's used the term confrontational coaching with us a few times in terms of the style of him and his staff. Can you give us kind of a context of what exactly that means?
To me, that's just he doesn't let anything slide. There's no walking around, there's nothing. And if he sees a problem, he does not feel afraid to address it with anybody. No matter who it is on the team, he'll get in your face and he'll let you know if you're messing up or doing anything not up to par.
Was that perhaps a shock to the system of some guys who had not experienced that before?
I would say so. When we first got here, you see that Coach Muschamp, face gets a little bit red, and head starts shaking, and, guys start paying attention. It took us a little while, but, we all love Coach Muschamp and what he brings. It's fun to play for a guy like that.